Storming Bracket!
What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is, of course, a 2021 animated comedy, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, which is also a Netflix film. This is a film that I know came out, I believe it was like late April, early May of 2021. This was a movie that I've heard about for quite some time, especially on Letterboxd, which if you're not following me on Letterboxd, definitely do so. It's in the description down below. But I heard a lot of people talking about this on Letterboxd, people that I very much respect on said app. And all the reviews and everything really kind of got me hyped, but for some reason I just kept putting it off. I don't know if it's because of the poster, which I know I always say don't judge a poster, don't judge a book, don't judge a trailer in terms of the actual final product, because again, it's just a little blip in the actual product. But I can't lie, it did kind of detract me a bit from wanting to have that incentive to watch it. And especially since also it's a streaming movie, which nothing against streaming movies, but streaming movies, it's a lot more difficult for me to keep up with than movies in theaters, at least from, my personal experience. But how is this movie? Is this living up to the hype, or is this a big disappointment? Well, I have to say, I personally thought that this was rock solid. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. By no means did I hate it. There's nothing I hated about this movie, honestly. I found this to be quite an enjoyable movie, and I'm glad I knew nothing about it going into it, because I feel like these kind of movies are honestly the best kind of experience where if you don't go into it knowing anything, it makes it such a more impactful experience. Like, I did not know that this movie had it where the lead character literally was, someone that was an aspiring filmmaker. I thought that was really cool. I was able to relate to the lead character a lot. In addition to that, the lead character is also very weird and also has a kind of a strange relationship with, her dad. And that's something I can also relate to. So the lead character, I was definitely on the same page with. I could definitely see her viewpoint. I was definitely able to really appreciate all the little details that the filmmakers gave to this character. I really liked this character. And then I also liked how it showcased all the debates and everything that she had with her dad, but also showcased his side of things. I thought that would really flesh things out and really made things feel three-dimensional between the two of them. And in addition to that, I also have to say that I liked how in showcasing his side of things, it showed how the ripple of time kind of affected him versus her. By him, it's like he's not really able to, at this point in time, at least at the start of the movie, he's not really able to kind of, meet to where she is. And by that, I mean, obviously he brought her into this world, along with his mom her mom. And the two of them, obviously when they were growing and everything, he looked at her in one way, but as she got older, he still kind of looked at her that way and wasn't able to grow the same way that she did. So I thought that relationship aspect really kind of was interesting because, again, if you think about it, this is all about relationships. Relationships have it where sometimes, two people grow apart or some people grow together. But there are also times where people just kind of headbutt each other because they don't necessarily know what to do about the changes. And I like that this, movie really did a good job of showcasing that. So I found it to be refreshing and quite emotional too, because again, with my relationship with my family and everything, I found this to be quite refreshing, honestly. Now, does this movie fall into some cliches? For sure. And I'll get into that towards the end of this review. But I liked the animation. I thought the animation was very much so Sony-esque. And, that cloudy with a chance of meatballs kind of look to it. But I thought that it was interesting enough to where it had a lot of style to it. More so than, like, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. In that there was a lot of things that they did in terms of, like, effects and everything to make it look almost like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World or like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So I thought that extra flair of style really added to the animation and made it more visually appealing. So I quite liked that. The voice acting is also really good. The themes and messages also really good. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the themes and messages really tie into that main relationship between the dad and the daughter. So I really liked that. Also, I thought the humor mostly worked. There was definitely a lot of times where I chuckled and even sometimes where I laughed out loud. So I think it's effective on that regards. But where this movie kind of falls flat is that there are some cliches. Nothing that I hated per se, but there were definitely things that I rolled my eyes with, especially in the third act. Third act, it doesn't fall apart per se, but it definitely falls into a lot of, landmine cliches. And by that, it's like, okay, what are we going to do? And it's like, oh, we're going to have it where it's like they go to point A to B. It's like, but how? And it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. We got to wrap things up. And that's kind of how it ends, unfortunately, with this third act. And in addition to that, the villain also just, I don't know what it is, but this villain reminded me a lot of like Algae Rhythm or whatever that villain's name was in Space Jam 2. And I hated Space Jam 2. So just kind of like that reminder of Space Jam 2 just kind of was like, oh gosh. But it's not a bad villain in terms of, obviously the Mitchells versus the Machines. It's not a bad villain. It's just a very one-dimensional villain. Very one-note and very uninteresting. Anytime we would go to the villain, I was like, oh gosh, can we go back to the Mitchells, please? And same with the Machines. The Machines were just kind of like, it is what it is. But I will say, those things aside, I do think this is a rock solid movie. It's really good filmmaking. I think it's a movie that the whole family can definitely watch and should watch. It's a movie that deals with a lot of themes and messages that are more timely than ever. I don't know how certain aspects are going to age in terms of, obviously talking about technology and everything. Some of it did fall a bit on the nose, but for the most part, the themes and messages are very wholesome. And what better time to watch a movie than like this, honestly, because this is a movie that I would definitely recommend. I would definitely say watch it with the whole family, and seriously, it's worth your time. So that's why The Mitchells vs. the Machines, I personally would be giving a 3.5 out of 5-star rating, which, if it was like a hot sauce rating, it's the good old Texas Pete hot sauce rating. So, yeah, thought it was rock solid. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you not? I can definitely see myself watching this with my kids in the future. And I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Did you guys like it? Did you not? Comment section down below. And as always, subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.